Hey guys, it's Jaren, Patrick Adair Supplies. Today we got a really fun one for you and some extra tips and tricks in there. So let's get into this month's sub box.
Every month, we dive into epic tutorials that break down everything you need to know to make awesome rings with your monthly sub box. We'll cover the tools, the materials, and techniques you need to turn your box into a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. Whether you're a first-timer or a pro, you're in the right place.
For this ring, we have our cobalt blue opal, apatite, our blue glow powder, a bright sapphire pigment, and a hammered tungsten dual channel ring blank. The look that we're going for this month is kind of like an icy feel to it. And so to achieve this, I'm crushing up our materials to vary the sizes, especially with the apatite having small pieces and large pieces in there will give it a large variety to the look. As well with the opal, when you crush it up like this, it allows more opportunity for light to reflect in different ways, creating a variety of color shifts. Now using that bright sapphire color that we just made, we are going to lay the backdrop for the ring. And I do this while the ring is spinning using a very little bit of super thin, and then I try to match the frequency of the ring while it spins, and it should lay down flat nicely. Now comes the fun part. We get to place in our stones inside the inlay. To do this, take super thin and just lightly saturate that color pigment that we already put in there. It only takes a couple of drops. I'm using my tweezers here to deliberately select the stones that I want and put them exactly where I want them to go. What I'm looking for is pieces that are large but also small enough to fit inside that small inlay channel. As well, I'm looking for pieces that are a bit darker. Sometimes apatite can be very clear and see-through. And when doing this, I always go for a natural look instead of like a manufactured look, and so I'm trying to be as random as possible in my placement. To kind of add to the randomness, I also am going to just pour over the smaller pieces of apatite to kind of create more of a natural look to it. And then you can just simply use your tweezers to remove kind of the ugly pieces, I guess. Like I even had a couple brown pieces in there. That's just from the natural formation of the stone. I'm just going to take those out. And then I'm going to take our opal and fill in those gaps. You want to make sure that your ring is nicely saturated before you do this so it doesn't just all fall out. And go ahead and pour on the opal to fill in those gaps. We're really trying to tightly pack that inlay channel as much as possible. And you might think to yourself, well, I'm not going to see that bright sapphire color then. But apatite is, even the darker pieces, is very see-through. And so that bright sapphire, what it's going to do is make those apatite pieces even more vibrant in color. Once that's cured enough, I'm going to use the back of my tweezers to push down the stones as much as possible, really trying to pack it in there. And then from there, you're just going to add super thin to create the clear coat layer and let that cure. Once that's fully cured, we're ready to go on to our drumling stage. Some of you may know tungsten is very hard and scratch resistant, and so you don't really have to worry too much about scratching it unless you're really going hard at it. Opal and apatite as well are very soft materials, and so this step is pretty easy, especially if you have some experience. If you do not, this is a great one to practice on. Next, I'm just going to do a quick pre-sand here. This is going to remove any imperfections on the surface level of the ring, smoothing it out, preparing it for the next clear coat layer. Make sure, as always, make sure this is completely dry before doing a clear coat, and lightly put super thin over the top while it spins, and let that cure. Now that that layer is cured, we're going to do another pre-sand. This ring is a little bit different than others, it being a faceted finish or a hammered finish. When you do that top coat, the glue is going to coat all over those facets on the outside, and those are very hard to sand off this way, and so we're going to add an extra step to it. The easiest way I have found that gets this glue off is just to use the back of a razor blade while the ring sits on the edge of a ring mandrel. Now, tungsten again is very scratch resistant, and so you don't need to worry about scratching it. What you really need to worry about is scratching yourself or cutting yourself. I have done this for about 5 years now, I think, and I have never cut myself once. However, when training other employees, I have seen accidents happen, unfortunately, and so please just be very careful when doing this. Wear proper protection. If you need to wear blade-proof gloves, do that as well. Wear safety goggles, as always, and just be careful when doing this. It's always easier to do this with the ring on the edge of the ring mandrel, so I just flip it around and do the other side. Once that's done, the worst is over. We're just going to go through our sanding steps now, starting with 500, then I go to 1000 grit, and then 1200. Now, if you're following along, you might be thinking that last step was the absolute worst, and it is. But it's completely worth it. These hammered finishes always turn out fantastic. They're honestly a huge hit, and I really love how the gray tone goes with the blue tone. It just makes the blue pop really nicely. And so this ring is a little bit of extra work, but in the end it turns out so beautiful. And to add to that beauty, we're going to now do a final polish. With tungsten, it always looks best and turns out the best when we use a diamond polish. It takes a little bit longer, there's extra steps to it, but again, extra work turns out with extra beauty. Now, if you want access to these diamond polishes, you can find those on our website. It always works best with harder materials like tungsten. If you want to use a polish on other materials like cobalt, we have polishes for that as well. Now I'm just going to clean off all that polish with a little bit of water in the paper towel. And after all those extra steps of hand placing and removing the glue off the facets and going through the diamond pastes, we have our finished ring. And this one turned out really beautifully. I hope you guys like this one, and I'll see you guys next time.
This is a mini vise that you're able to suction cup onto any flat surface, allowing flexibility for your ring making.
So this mini vise is a good alternative for those of you that are not able to get your hands on a lathe. We understand that lathes are very expensive, and so we wanted to provide a more affordable alternative to working on a lathe. And so I'm showing here exactly how I would approach that. The vise itself allows you to rotate the ring, and so it makes it very easy to work on. Now this is just a quick showcase of what you can do with this mini vise for making rings. And if you guys would want a further in-depth tutorial, please let us know in the comments. I always check the comments to see if you guys have any ideas for videos or have any questions, and so please make sure to leave those comments below. Thanks, guys.